I'm just kind of waiting until it shows up on the stream, just to make sure. Alright, I see it. So, yeah, this will be done on normal mode. This game kind of holds a pretty special place in my heart, but not gonna go too much into that. So, as you can already tell, this is on the Japanese version, which kind of goes under a different name called Kiki Kai Kai. You have two different characters you can select. We are gonna opt for Tanuki because A, this is Red Panda Rush, so you have to select the animal, and B, he is the faster of the two, and we'll get more into that in a little bit. So 3, 2, 1, go. So Pocky and Rocky has kind of gone through a number of changes in when we start our timer, because it turns out when you press start in the cutscene determines which of the 7 stages you get in each of the corresponding levels here. So each of these stages are hidden in rather clever locations. And here's the first one. Unfortunately, we got Ebizu, which is not the best luck, and this is kind of what Pocky Rocky's all about. If you do not press start on the right frame of the cutscene, you will get the wrong sage, and the sage that we want is one that drops a bomb. Each of the sages are actually designed after the 7 lucky gods from Japanese folklore. Also, here's the first boss. Gave me a really bad pattern there, but that's fine. We will be able to upgrade our fire in the next level. So if you actually take 3 hits without upgrading your weapon, you'll actually have it downgraded to a level. You'll have it downgraded a level. Alright, so moving on to stage 2 here. There's our fire. I had to pause briefly to grab it. But yeah, they're getting back to the stages. There are 7 of them, and only 3 of them actually drop a bomb, so landing on the correct frame for these cutscenes is very integral to the speedrun. This Cyclops here, you can actually do double damage to him. And that was actually a very good use of that. You can actually hear the multitude of hits there, compared to when you don't get the sweet spot to do double damage to the Cyclops. And hopefully you'll get to hear it again on the second one that we're gonna fight. That Tengu is pretty important that he dies. Unfortunately, I did not get a shield out of that box there, so we're gonna have a bit of a rough time here. And that is mostly because of the section coming up. But first, once again, we're showing off the raw power of Rocky's bombs, and that is also why we select Rocky. Uh-oh. Alright, well, we're gonna have our fire downgraded. This is already not looking great. We're actually probably gonna take the health, just for safety. And you can kind of see that that section before this Cyclops. It's a very laggy section, so we had to actually charge right through it. And unfortunately, because we took 3 hits to get through there, we are downgraded once again, and this is actually not a good situation to be in. The hitbox detection of this weapon is actually pretty bad for this entire auto-scroller. So now we have all these Kappas, and the ones jumping into the water are going to jump on the raft. What they're trying to do is drag me into the water and drown me. Nice, I know, but thankfully it's unlikely that I actually get dragged into the water. But during the course of this auto-scroller, there's going to be the leader of the Kappas, and he's going to come in on some raft. getting rid of this guy is what will trigger the Sage to spawn. So this part, with single fire here, this can be pretty tough to deal with. Also, that tail whip I'm doing also repels physical attacks, which is actually very important. That's actually very close to accidentally falling into the water. Oop. Come on. Okay, we did not get the weapon we sought for, but that's okay. We actually got our fire upgraded. So unfortunately, this is already not looking so great. But out of anyone who ever speedruns this game, I'm pretty much the only one that knows what to do in a situation like this. And still get a relatively decently fast time. In the Japanese version, bombs max out at 3. But in the English version, they max out in 4, so it's actually faster to do it on the English version. That being said, the reason I run on the Japanese version is because I'm a little more familiar with the timing to Sage manipulate. I know it doesn't seem like that right now, but I have a much easier time getting the results I want on this version of the game. So, bombs are pretty integral on boss fights, but this is the one fight where it's absolutely not, and that's because after a set amount of damage, the boss is actually going to resubmerge into the water after a certain amount of damage is inflicted. Otherwise, nothing really much to actually talk about this fight. It's mostly about managing the lag that's associated in this fight. Getting rid of the heads is pretty important. You're not ever going to be guaranteed to get rid of the lag, but you can mitigate it somewhat. Alright, so the boss here is flashing. That means he's actually close to death. I'm actually going to take a dip in the water, and that's to reduce my health. At the end of each level, health counts down and then fills back up. So it's actually faster to drain your health after the end of each level. Alright, so on to level 3. This is the, I guess the haunted grounds. Hopefully we get a bomb from this Sage here. No guarantees on that, of course. We'll see what I get. And we did not get what we wanted. So far this is not looking too hot for Sage spawns. So we're going to be taking this the ultra safe way, which is fine, because I'm much more comfortable doing this fight the normal way. So this guy is an enormous troll. If going the extremely fast way... Okay, so you saw right there, he instantly teleported. And I actually activated a bomb when he did that. All that bomb damage would have been nullified. Oh, whoa. Okay. Oh, and there you saw the Ice Breath actually stuns me for quite a while. So that was not a very good fight. He kind of veered off the screen, too. That's another thing you have to worry about with that fight. But I'll go more into that fight, since we get to fight him again at some point in this level. Now we got this pretty scripted area. These band spawns can be a little bit random, but they kind of are just coming at us all at once, and whoa, jeez. Calm down. Yeah, we kind of were just waiting on the slimes there to spawn. Okay, that's a very good drop. And yeah, there's that first encounter with the Joker. And now we have the genie fight. We actually opt to use a bomb here, and that's a not so great situation, but again, we will opt for what we have here. The Genie we do want to use the bomb on because he has a lot of health, and it's a fight that wastes a lot of time. Right, so this section's all on cycles, so I'm going to move in a specific manner. Use that shield to just abuse some iframes there. Try and get through a rather dicey section there without actually taking a hit. And we want this shield... We want to carry this shield right to the end because it does make this last section here a little bit faster. Unfortunately, there's some particle effects going on with the Joker's attack, and it actually lags the game a little bit, so that's kind of unfortunate luck, but we'll make do. It's going to slide through all this. And now we're going to fight this guy once again. This time we're not, and once again we're not going to use the bomb here. So this fight is actually pretty interesting. He'll opt to start with the Flame Breath, or usually, or sorry, the he'll opt to do either the Blade or the Ice Breath. And what attack he does depends on where he's positioned, or where I'm positioned in accordance to him. And then after the Ice Breath or the Blade attack, he will alternate to the Flame attack, and then he'll alternate back to either one of the Blade attacks, or the Blade attack, or the Ice Breath. You want to have the Ice Breath because he actually leaves himself wide open and just stands still for a while. And that's kind of the gist of that fight. So there is a bit of manipulation that does go on with that fight, which we thank God for that, because he's otherwise a really nasty fight to deal with. And let's see if we actually get the right spawn this time. No, we don't. All right, this is probably the worst. It's probably the worst spawns I've actually had in a while. So once again, I'm actually forced to consider the safer option. With the next upcoming boss fight, and the reason for that is because the boss fight coming up in stage 5 pretty much requires me having 5 bombs. It's just not safe to do that fight. It's not safe to do the stage 5 boss without 2 bombs in hand. So I'm kind of gonna have to improvise a little bit on this run because it's not been too hot on the luck side of things. So we're almost done with this section here. The bats are all on scripted cycles, but the tornadoes can spawn kind of randomly at the start, and depending on how they spawn at the start is reason enough for it kind of leads to rather weird patterns from them. Alright, I'm actually going to take that health just for safety. And again, I want to do this because I'm going to definitely need this health. I'm definitely going to need this health for the boss coming up here. Again, because I don't have the bombs to utilize, I'm kind of forced to do the fight the normal way. Alright, getting that is actually pretty good luck, because now I can refresh. I can actually refresh my weapon, and I can now take an additional 3 hits before being downgraded. So you got these these fat goblins here trying to jump on me, but they're not gonna succeed in getting a hit on me. This guy can be a bit persistent. His AI is programmed to immediately counterattack with a bomb if you actually hit him after his chain link attack is finished. I guess another thing of note that I didn't go into, if you tap a direction, you know, relatively decently fast, you actually can stilt your conventional weapon here and actually do more damage with it. So that's a little nice thing to know. Of course I had to take that hit. That might not be good, actually. Alright. I'm gonna just get my headphones back on here. Pretty much the rest of this, there's not much to... Well, actually, no, we're pretty much at the end. So... just gonna get our scripted bomb drop right here. That one's always there. There's at least one bomb drop that does occur in the in each level, aside from the 5th level. All right, so here's the harpy, and dodging her attacks can be a little tricky. There is a particular attack that's very hard to dodge. Actually, I think it's impossible to dodge it. And just try to keep her on screen. Try and maximize my damage. Oh, I dodged it. Very nice. Okay. So that's actually really good. And this is kind of the fight in a nutshell. Oh, he got the head. Okay. She got the head. Sorry. I gotta remember, this is a harpy that's actually not a he. Alright, well, that fight was pretty exciting. Had to take it rather safe there. Pretty liberal on my health. Because that dive attack she does is very hard to dodge. And it does a full heart. Now, with stage 4 out of the way, we move on to stage 5. This is easily the hardest level in the game. Assuming even the level goes right, I do expect quite a bit of death involved in this level. Gotta be careful with how I move, and I want to make sure I only take damages from things that do half a heart. And this is pretty integral to get through this rather nasty section here. This guy decided not to throw anything at me. Take that health. And I want to carry this as far as I can. There we go. That's actually a really good spot to die. Yeah, so this level, you're pretty much forced to take at least one death at that point. Utilize that flame there to get past that barrel. That barrel will actually smush you and stun you for about a good, I think about 2.5 seconds. And now we want to sneak by these guys and then just damage the door and get through before the guys catch us. Right, so the second screen is actually arguably even worse than the first screen. And, yeah, that's primarily because it's very much dependent on getting the lucky god that gives us the great dog that hopefully we get to see. Probably not going to see it, though. Oh, okay, I got smushed there. You can see how long that took. Okay, I was probably good to just slide in there. Oh, man, okay. That's 5 for 5 in not getting the one we wanted. So, actually, I'm doing pretty good on health here. I might be able to get through this without actually dying. Alright, we made it. Whew. Very scary situation, but we actually did not die on that second screen, which is very fortunate luck. I wanted the goddess, the sage goddess, because she drops the dog, and that gives me invincibility to just charge right through much of this awful section. Alright, so Dracula fight. Wow! He almost got away. Or, okay, I didn't do much damage to him. This is gonna be interesting. Okay, I might be okay. Okay, we made it. Jeez, that was kind of scary. Yeah, the bats, I think, do a full heart of damage. Unfortunately, though, taking a death there means my timer got reset and my health was put back to full, which means we gotta wait for this entire health bar to replenish. Okay, so stage 5, last level of the game. This is also a pretty scary level, but compared to level 5, it's not quite as bad. But there are a few enemies that do 2 hearts worth of damage on this difficulty, particularly this dog and these spiders here. It's gonna charge through all of this. All right. There is also a static bomb drop, and also there is no sage in this particular level. So one final mini-boss before the final boss here. It's a nice little spot up here at the top, where we can actually chill out. And we won't take damage for pretty much anything other than that shield attack that he did hit me with. And there we go. That was the last mini-boss. So now we move on to Black Mantle. This is the last fight of the game, and with the amount of bombs I have and me being stuck with the most basic weapon, this could be a long fight. And but at my level of health, I should be able to finish him off. Lore-wise, so the lore of this game is the yokai are kind of going mad in the region, and this is the guy largely responsible for that. In fact, all the goblins you saw, or the yokai you saw in level 5, are actually being mind-controlled to do his evil bidding. So those statues there actually form a shield that will protect Black Mantle, so you gotta get rid of them. They also shoot projectiles, which is not good either. Ooh, that was a bad hit. But yeah, Black Mantle himself has 3 attacks. That first one is not really big deal. That second one is just a stunning attack. This attack, though, is the real danger, and we're going to try to do a little bit of damage as we go past him. I actually took a hit there, which is also not good. But we're still looking pretty good. Still looks like we're gonna... like I said, we're in for a pretty long fight being stuck with this weapon. Alright, he's back to his first pattern. Still haven't even got him to flashing yet. There we go. There he's in flashing now. Yeah, for the most part, his attacks can be kind of baited out. Wow, I couldn't get any hits on him. There we go. That's Black Mantle down, and that is the end of the run. So, pretty rough luck there with the Sage spawns. Literally getting none is probably the worst I've ever done. Or the worst I've ever gotten in an actual marathon run. But, you know, that's just something that's bound to happen. I still got well under 25 minutes, which is what I believe I have for my estimate for my games done quick.
27 for your estimate, and you got a 22:47.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Worst possible luck, or worst possible spawns, and still went way under. So, now I know I can just get away with putting this at 25. But yeah, that was Pocky and Rocky.
So how many different games do you run?
I think I run about... I guess I'm gonna say at least 15. It might be a little more than that. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head. It would take a little while, but You can probably find me on speedrun.com, and you'll know how many I run just from doing that.
You've still got a couple more runs coming up later, right?
I do. In fact, I think there's 2 more runs before my next one, which I believe is Super Nintendo Sparkster. And then they will follow that up with Rock and I Adventures, both of which are part of the same series.